So the 62nd book of the Bible is a little letter called 1 John. It's called 1 John because he wrote 3 of them. And he also wrote the Gospel according to John. And he also wrote that very last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. And John's a special geezer, you know, because he's known in church history as the Apostle of Love. There's a record that, you know, before he pegged it, as it were, as an old man, apparently all he used to say to people was love one another, because love is of God. But interestingly, Jesus calls him a son of thunder. So he was a fisherman, do you know what I mean? He was a professional fisherman. And so he was a bit well-armed. And when Jesus met him, he was running his gob off, you know. And so Jesus called him and his brother James a son of thunder. They were a little bit too hard to handle. So it's interesting that his contact with Jesus turned him from a son of thunder into the apostle of love. Isn't that interesting? But he wasn't soppy by any means. I mean, he was a fisherman with big old fists and everything, pulling in the nets and stuff around people that were no doubt swearing and farting and other stuff like that. And so he was kind of like a man's man. But he got really close to Jesus. In fact, in the Last Supper, it's recorded that he was the disciple whom Jesus loved. And he was the disciple that leant across the chest of Jesus to ask him, you know, is it me that's going to betray you? He's the disciple that Jesus, you know, from the cross looked down and said, Mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother. So, he's a guy that Jesus trusted as well. And he obviously liked him very much indeed, and vice versa. Well, he writes this letter, and there's a ton of stuff in it. But the most important thing in 1 John is what he says about Jesus. He says this: I'm writing to you about the person that we have touched and handled and declared to be the Word and Son of God. And I've just been thinking about those two things today. I'm writing to you about the person that we've touched and handled. And the Apostle John certainly did that as a friend of Jesus. And I think when Jesus rose from the dead as well, you know, with his nail-pierced hands and feet, I think John touched and handled Jesus there as well. It was just remarkable. And I often meet people that want an argument for becoming a Christian. In other words, they want a reason. Give me a reason for becoming a Christian. You know, is God real?
No, I don't get into arguments about that.
Aye. Do you know what I tell them? I just say, taste and see if the Lord is real and good. And someone was saying to me just the other day, he says, God's dead, you know. I said, oh, bloody hell no, I've just been chatting to him this morning. He's either died between me having a chat with him this morning and you telling me he's dead now. And the reality is that Jesus is real. God is real. And he can be more real to people than even you sat next to me or you across from me. He's that touchable. And that people that know God know in their knower and know in their experience that God is real. He is the bread of life. He is closer to them than a brother. He has at their very side, even at their elbow. That what he says about I'll never leave you nor forsake you is true because he's with you. When he said I'm with you always even until the end of the age, it's the truth. And it's a matter of finding Jesus to be real for you. I think that's the most important message of the 62nd book of the Bible, 1 John. Jesus, who we've touched and handled and know to be the Word of God, the Word of life. And I want to recommend Jesus to you. And that's my message for you at All Saints in Norwich today. And thanks for listening. I hope it's been a blessing.